This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, saving your day from boredom with the best podcasting entertainment.
Welcome, nerds. I'm Mark Weber, and you are listening to A Graphic Conversation, the bi-weekly podcast where we read, discuss, and review the best, and hopefully not the worst, in graphic novels. I'm joined, as I always am, by my good friend and fellow man-child, Ricky Widmer.
What's up, guys?
And for this one, we read World of Warcraft, Volume 1. And obviously we read this because there's a movie coming out, World of Warcraft. A lot of you might not be fans of World of Warcraft. Some of you might be. Maybe a lot of you are. I don't really know. Ricky was a player. He played the game.
I played the game a lot. I was actually, for those of you wowzers out there. For
all you wowzers out there.
For all you wowzers out there, wowheads. I don't even know what we were called. But I played. I started my sophomore year, which would have been, 2006?
Sounds about right.
To give you a time frame. So
yeah.
Right at the end of the first actual game, right before the first expansion, which was Burning Legion, and I played all the way through Lich King.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
No, not Lich King. The one that came after Lich King.
The Panda was.
No, I stopped there.
Okay,
I played Lich King then.
All right. I think that's the right order.
I'm going to look it up, and if I'm wrong, I'll chime in.
Someone's already yelled at you if you're wrong. I have also played World of Warcraft.
We've never played together, though.
Well, I only ever started characters and got kind of bored before I got to level 10.
I had two or three of them that were pretty high.
You know, I just can't get with grinding so much. It just bored me, which is weird because I like RPGs. I really do. Mm-hmm. It's actually probably my favorite genre. Especially JRPGs is probably my favorite genre. But so obviously I don't mind grinding, but in the MMO world, I couldn't get with it. I really couldn't. But we don't care about that right now because we're reading the actual Volume 1 here. And let me give you a little description about it. And then we'll talk a little bit more about what the actual podcast, A Graphic Conversation, is. A human is found unconscious on the shores of Kalimdor. By the way, guys, like I said, didn't really play World of Warcraft very much, so I'm probably going to fuck up a lot of names. All right, anyways, with no memory of who he is or how he arrived there, he gets enslaved by an orc shaman, Rhaegar Earthfury. This man must fight for survival against members of both the Alliance and the Horde, striking uneasy relationships with other races in his quest to find the secrets of his past. Did I mess those names up terribly? I think I got Rhaegar right.
I don't know.
I feel like I got Rhaegar right.
You're asking the wrong guy, Mark. I am bad with names, especially fictional names.
Now, oh yeah, me too. I'm terrible at names in general. But my thing is usually remembering the names that I'm bad at. Now, this might make some people angry or some other people happy. I don't know. But I did play, now I can't, Hearthstone.
Valeria.
I did play, so I know who she is.
Valeria.
But Anduin.
He's the priest.
Yeah, that's what it was. Because when his name, I spoiled some things probably, but when his name comes up later.
Anduin.
I was like, I know that guy from somewhere.
I don't even remember his name in here, to be honest. Anduin?
Well, maybe. Let's stop talking before we spoil some things.
We'll get to that in spoiler.
So let me inform you of how the podcast works. We have this area, spoiler-free territory, where we really, really try not to ruin anything. And we warn you before we get into the spoiler mode where all is fair game. Now, if you want to read this, if you do, we'll give our suggestions before we get to spoiler mode if we think you should. But if you want to read this, we'll tell you when to pause so you can take care of that and come back and join the conversation. If you've already read it, fantastic. You're already part of the conversation. Or if you just don't care and you just want to listen and, enjoy and be a part of that, that is A-okay. We're fine with that. So, Ricky, let me ask you this question first.
Mm-hmm.
What were you expecting coming into this?
I was expecting a lot of WoW references. Mm-hmm. That's what I was expecting. And it was one of those things where I was like, oh, cool. I've played the game. I should be excited about this. Like, I played World of Warcraft. I was into it. I played it for so long of my life. I'm going to get all the references. And then it was just one of those things where I hope it's a good story behind it.
Mm-hmm. For me, someone who didn't play World of Warcraft.
You didn't play it to the same extent that I did.
Anywhere near. I never really... I only really started 2 characters. One of them I never made it out of the starting area.
You never ventured into the Elwyn Forest, Mark. I have grinded many of times in the Elwyn Forest.
Very correct, I'm assuming.
Or Loch Modan. I mean, Loch Modan is my jam.
Yeah. One of the times I did... one of the times I got out of the starting area, but I don't think I made it to the next place I was supposed to go. So that tells you some things.
What character did you play? Do you mind if I ask?
One of them was a...
No, you can't ask that, you fucking asshole.
One of them was an orc.
So you were a horde, okay.
Yeah, and then the other one...
So that's your problem. You played horde.
Who were the people who had the giant tree starting point?
Druids, the night elves.
Night elves, I think. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Was he purple or was she purple?
Think so.
Yeah, then night elf.
Okay.
Yeah. Just like the guy who was a bear in this one.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I did that. I'm pretty sure that's a thing I did.
I had a druid fairly high, and the name of said druid, hey there, all one word, B-U-B-U. Hey there, boo-boo.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey there, boo-boo. Because I was going to be a tank, and I transformed into a bear to be the tank.
Do you want to know what the MMO that I've played the most of ever was?
Gears of War. No, you're not an Xbox guy.
That's not an MMO.
It's not? I thought it was.
Gears of War? No.
Yeah.
Gears of War is a shooter.
Okay. Diablo? Are you a Diablo guy?
I have played Diablo, but not the MMO version.
Are we going way back to what we talked about in the pre-podcast? Before we talking
no,
just
that's
normal
not. That's
Warcraft?
also not an MMO. It's not a massive multiplayer online.
Okay. Don't say RuneScape.
No, well, I did play.
I never played RuneScape.
Back in the day. But the thing I played the most was actually The Sims Online. That is the MMO
Is that
I played the most.
considered an MMO?
Massively multiplayer online. Yeah.
Was it ever online?
Yeah, The Sims Online. Yeah.
I never played it online.
And it was awesome. It was The Sims, but it was online with all these other people.
Never played it online with other people.
It was fun. You had to pay for it. And after that, but I mean, same thing with like all these things where you had to pay.
Yeah, it's World of Warcraft.
Now, a lot of them are doing away with it. Like, of course, the Old Republic, Star Wars, they don't have it because the paywall didn't work at all.
Well, free to plays now coming back. Like, look at Overwatch or Blizzard that they just came out with. Free to play. All you gotta do is buy the game.
So, yeah, I never really got into MMOs because of that reason. I paid for that one for a while, stopped playing, so I stopped paying, and I just never really wanted to pay. I
was a big, and monthly. I know this is way out. You guys are probably like, dude, get to the fucking book already. But yeah, you'll see why we're having this conversation when we get to the book. But my whole thing was I never had like my credit card hooked up directly to it. I had to where...
When you were younger, you didn't really have a credit card back then.
Well, yeah, but or like my parents' credit card. It was just go out, buy the 30-day card, put it in. If I didn't buy it, I guess I wasn't playing. So it was one of those things where it's like I never felt I was really locked in, even though I had a bunch of time where it's like, okay, I got 5 days. I got to go get a card.
Yeah, I did that a lot where it was, through iTunes, actually, because I'm a big music fan. I would only buy cards because I didn't want to have my credit card access to it because then I would just buy music all the time.
And then Blizzard got hacked into, and I think they got hacked into.
Everybody's got hacked. Sony. And the other thing too, you mentioned Sony, and like when I had Xbox and I had Xbox Live, and when I do PSN, PlayStation Plus, I used to want to always do the card because I didn't want to have my thing, especially with PSN, how they constantly have flash sales and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's just like Steam. If anyone plays Steam,
just push it and you've got
there's something and I need to have it. Yeah, I didn't like that because I didn't want to. I wanted to have some form of control. I wanted to have to go physically grab my card and type it in. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, my expectations coming into this. I don't know if I ever gave them.
Now we get to it after the long rant that we just had.
I don't know if I ever gave my expectations.
No, you
so
didn't.
Let me do it now.
No, I gave mine. You didn't give yours.
I was expecting to probably not enjoy this because I thought the same thing you thought. I thought it was going to be full of World of Warcraft things.
At least it seemed like I was like, oh, I played this game. I think I'll like it. Where Mark was like, shit, we're reading this for a movie that I'm probably not even going to go see.
I'm not going to see this movie. I can tell you that right now. I have zero interest in seeing this movie.
I'm going to go see it. I fucking think it's...
I have absolutely no interest.
I think it's going to be good.
I think they're going to piss a lot of hardcore fans off.
I hope not. I don't think it's going to be that bad, but I hope it's not going to be
I don't necessarily think they're going to piss people off because it's bad. I think it's going to piss people off because they're going to butcher the story and they're going to butcher the lore. Okay. I really think they're going to really fuck that up. It's like it's like we talk about every now and then with these. It's a movie, and then it becomes this. Mm-hmm. Just the last podcast we did, Age of Apocalypse, we're saying it's going to have nothing to do with the comic, the graphic novel. And that's why that's not the only reason people didn't like it seems. But that's one of the reasons why people aren't going to enjoy it. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to completely butcher it. I really do.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens. Because obviously, it's coming out this week.
Yeah.
So... with that being said, I did not expect to enjoy it. I wasn't excited to read it. You asked me the question when we were planning season 1 here.
I said, do we do it for the movie?
And I did not want to. But but at the same time, I was like, but we probably should.
Yeah, and it was one where I was like, you know what? I'm like, you know what? I think I'd enjoy it. And the thing with this kind of story, and like, we're kind of ragging on it, I'll be honest. And it's not...
It's not a bad story.
It's not bad. It's just
not exciting.
It's not what I would have it was like when you told me we were going to record this a week later than or a week sooner, I should say, than we are now. And when you walk in and say, yeah, you know what, I didn't read it because I had to take, when you say
I got about 3
I have
issues
to take breaks, then you know, okay, it probably wasn't a good, enticing story. And that's the biggest pitfall, I think, or my biggest criticism for this is it just seems like the stories were too chunk, and just cut up and tried to put together cookie cutter style.
Yeah, and it just kind of dragged for me too, being someone who didn't know the lore, didn't know the world. I constantly felt like I was probably missing things.
Yeah.
And that made me not want to really read more, especially when they get into specific places and they go into all these different areas and they're using all these different names and stuff. And I'm like, I don't know. Like the whole prologue, we're not in spoiler mode, so I'm not going to spoil anything.
Yeah.
But it starts off telling a backstory of a character. And I'm like, thank you for the exposition here.
I had to read that first page numerous times because I'm like, where the fuck are we?
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing.
Not in spoiler mode. I want to put that out there.
It's just a story. I like the foreword from.
Yes, the foreword's probably my favorite part of the book.
That was oh cool, it got me excited. But I'm telling you, that first page of the prologue, I had to read it a couple times because I'm like, okay, where are we? Who's this? Who's
what's
that?
happening
Who's
right now?
Who? What's going on? And it was very there were part of me that's like, okay, I know this part because of I've played the game. I know this part because I've played Warcraft way
Warcraft
back,
was the
which
shit.
was fucking amazing.
Warcraft is better than World of Warcraft. People might hate me for saying that, but it's better.
Oh no, I would totally agree with you. I would totally jump onto that side of the conversation.
And World of Warcraft is an extremely important game for video games.
I love World of Warcraft, but I would totally jump on the side of that with you. I'm going to get into a little bit about that.
To further piss people off, StarCraft is better, but
I love fucking StarCraft 2, man. Oh, I haven't played the newest, but man,
I did not. I didn't want it to ruin my nostalgia.
It's pretty good. It's not. It was. I played StarCraft 2, but then didn't get the expansions on it. But like I was saying, I was able to hang in only because of my back knowledge into the World of Warcraft.
Yes. Now let me say this.
Did not mean for that to happen.
I don't even think I'm going to ask the question I always ask of who this is for. We're both agreeing you have
Warcraft
to like
fans.
World of Warcraft to be into this.
Yeah. No, it is. Yeah.
If you don't like World of Warcraft, don't even bother reading.
You know what? I'd say if you like Warcraft or World of Warcraft.
And I think you have to have actually played a substantial amount of World of Warcraft to really enjoy it.
Or Warcraft.
I don't think that you really get, as someone who played a lot of Warcraft and no barely any World of Warcraft.
More so World of Warcraft.
It didn't work for me being that person. So with that being said, we're going to enter spoiler mode because we got to do it eventually. Neither one of us were huge fans, but don't let that discourage you if you like World of Warcraft or you're into this kind of universe story here. Feel free to read it. We're going to enter spoiler mode soon, but don't worry, we'll warn you before we ruin anything. So if you don't have any intention of reading it or you already have, join us in the conversation. If not, you're going to want to press pause in about 5 seconds because we're just about to enter spoiler mode right now. Here we go. All right, press pause. So anyways, like I said, the prologue starts off.
I love how you say each podcast, press pause.
Right now.
Right now.
I want to give them, the knowledge.
Well, it took us a while to actually figure that out. Like, how do we do that to get into spoiler?
How do we do this without ruining anything for people?
I'm going to start off with a positive before we kind of rag on this a little more.
Sure.
The artwork.
Yes.
I did like the art of this graphic novel. It fit to
it's World of
Warcraft. Yeah.
It is what you expect out of World of Warcraft.
Especially
for sure.
Valeria. Baby. Give me some of that costume.
Calm down, Ricky. Calm down. She's a night elf.
Typical blood elf.
Blood elf.
Yeah.
She's a blood elf.
Hashtag blood elf. Hashtag get your elves right. That's the hashtag
get your elves
for the
right.
show.
All right.
Get your elves right. Get your elves right.
I want to see people try and spell that. That's what I want to see.
No, it's a CHO. Get Cho. Elves. Get your elves.
Like Cho from Harry Potter.
Yeah, wait. Get your elves right. Yeah, CHA maybe. I don't know. Spell it however you want. Get your elves right.
It's a hashtag that we all got to use, but spell it however you want.
Whoever's the first one to use it, that's how we're going to spell it.
So search it a few different ways first, then go to whichever way someone else spells
obviously, it's going to be the ones using at most valuable pod. Duh.
Yeah. So, okay. Artwork is great. I'm going to skip straight to... we don't care about fuck the prologue.
The action was good. Like, when they were fucking fighting in the pits, and it was the three of them. Like, that was a scene where I'm like, fucking A, man. That is what I like. And it was action-packed, and I was into it. But then there was, like, that fucking story with, like, the fucking totem and, like, what's the druid's name? I'm blanking on his name.
I don't know.
The druid, the night elf druid in this. He was all like, I'm going fucking crazy.
Is that Brawl, right?
Brawl. I'm going fucking crazy because I don't have my fucking totem, man. I'm like, this is a drag. But then I'm like, I remember fighting those things.
See, here's the thing about that. For someone like me, all these things are going on and all these references are being made, and I don't understand any of them, and they don't take the time to explain any of them, which is fine. They shouldn't have to take the time to explain it. But someone like me is completely lost and just completely turned off. I would have put this down in the prologue if it wasn't for the fact that I had to read it. I would have.
Ooh, that is
it's not because it's a terrible book. It's just because there's all these things happening that I am completely out of the loop on. It's not a bad book. It's boring. It is a little boring.
Oh, it's so boring at times.
But it's not an awful book. This book does not deserve like a 1 out of 5, but I am just personally so lost on it that I can't really give it that good of a score. We'll get to that later.
And I mean, with me, like, even the part where they go to Boulder, the Torn City, whatever it's called. I forget the names. I haven't played World of Warcraft in a while. But they go to the Torn City, and even that storyline's like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, there's so much dragging on. It's like, if it was action-packed, it was good. If not, it was like, what are we doing?
Yeah, there was some good stuff spilled out in between a lot of just dragging your way forward. And I think that's a thing, too, because this is long. There's like 7 or 8 issues involved with this. And it's not that great. I mean, it's not that deep of a story. Like so the whole thing is Crocbait is his first name. He's got 3 different names. And they find him and he doesn't have any memories, but he's a great fighter. And they're like, yeah, let's capture him. So
if you're in spoiler mode or you don't care about spoiler mode, let's just leave it to one name, the King. The King. Let's just call him the King.
Varian, right? Is that how it's said?
We'll just call him the King of Storm.
Or Logosh. Once again, like I said, I don't really know these names. So yeah, the thing is, they drag out this whole he doesn't have his memories thing, and it's almost like if this was a video game, this would work. It would work because it was so drawn out. But for me, I'm sitting there like, just say what it is.
Or the part where and
give the details. Just give them out to us, please, because it's just annoying that you have to sit there and you have to wait issue to issue to issue to just get tiny little tidbits.
It kind of makes me think of a video that I've seen a long time ago from YouTuber Ego Raptor, where he does the Mega Man, like why Mega Man X is so awesome. And he even says in the beginning, it's kind of like when video games, newer ones, when you start to play them, you start to say, yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Like, this was that. I get it. He doesn't have his memory. Okay, I get it. Like, you're hitting me over the head with this.
All right, we're getting a little bit of memory. Okay, we get it. And honestly, though, you brought up the surprise before, and I don't think I didn't expect him to be the king, but I knew he was somebody really important.
It was one of those things where, like, when it happens, I go, really?
Yeah.
Really? Like, that's where we're going with this?
Because the whole thing is that he's the king, and there's this weird thing about, like, split personalities and stuff like that, and they end up combining. I don't know. It's very weird.
Like, you even know you lost it when you've got a World of Warcraft guy like myself going, really? Like, that's the big reveal? Is he's the king? This needed to wait after we went through the fucking, like, the worst part of this was that whole night elf side of it. When they go off on his tangent, I was like, what the? Like, I feel like the story could have ended right before that. Right before that issue happened, I thought the story was actually going to end.
Yeah. Nope. It was definitely long. Like, it's weird that they have this whole thing going on, and then they sell Valyria, and it's like, this isn't needed. You know, we don't need to keep going down this line.
Because she eventually escapes.
Yeah, and then, like, it really was just kind of adding extra stuff for no apparent reason, is what it felt like to me. This is his story, and we go off onto the side, and I know that they're friends, and like, their friendship is important to the lore of World of Warcraft. But it's just, I don't know. It just, if we're going to tell his story, we should probably focus on him. If we want to tell her story, that's cool. We can do it later. But this one should be about him. It's almost like how Star Wars now has a million different comics. This one's about Han Solo. That one's about Leia. This one's about Lando. This one's about Luke. It just tells that person's story. It's not like we have this one thing telling a million different stories at the same time.
I mean, I had to tap it because, I mean, I know I know it'd be short. Well, I say tap it because I'm reading on a Kindle to see how far I am, but 48% into this, so I'm not even halfway done. And I'm already thinking it should be over. Like, the way that book, what is it, fucking chapter 3 ends is perfect. Like, there's a fight in the sky, they're fighting, and then it goes off to this assassin and this person looking into a mirror. Here you go, kill him. This is who your target is. So then it's like, holy shit, we're coming in the next book. This is what's going to fucking happen, man. Or if you didn't want to do that and you just wanted to say, hey, let's end this fight in the sky. And then when they land in the Night Elf territory, I think it's Ashenvale is where they landed. Okay, that's where the next story is going to start. I just didn't like the whole, when they were actually in the Night Elf territory. Like, that whole part of it was like, maybe it's also because I was fatigued by how drawn out the story was to the point where I'm just like, fuck it, get it over with.
Yeah, and it just kind of, it makes sense in a video game that it would keep going and have that kind of feel to it where it's this story that you think it's ending, but oh no, there's this other thing that's happening, or it makes sense in like a TV show where they continue it on. And when you think about the fact that these are continuing stories, sure, it makes sense, but it definitely felt like it was way too long.
I got a good comparison to this.
Sure.
World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
When you're in raids, it's great. When you're in instances, it's great. When you're grinding, when you're running halfway across the map or flying halfway across the map, kind of boring.
Yeah.
That's this book.
It
is World of Warcraft to a T.
It's when you just kind of tape down the W key and let that guy run for a little while.
Or it's like, well, I've got to fly halfway across the map. I am going to purchase this flight. Then I'm going to get up and grab something to eat because I don't need to watch myself fly. An automated flight pattern. That's what this is. Oh, action. Cool. Well, pointless, and now it's boring.
And like some of the banter between, especially like with Valyria and I think Brawl.
The Night Elf, Brawl.
Yeah. Like some of that stuff is fine, and like I appreciate those characters.
In the beginning, how they hate each other,
and then they kind of start to become friends.
Yeah,
and like that's nice. But at the same time, it just kind of... It's not like that's enough to really carry things along for a while. And I'm not even that interested in his, like, oh, he doesn't have his memory, because it's just so
You
played
didn't
out.
sell me on it.
Well, it's not even that.
It's kind of like the great stories that we have read so far on this podcast. They all have, you gotta, like, just do a storytelling just trait is you have to make me care about the character.
Yeah.
If you don't make me do that, I'm not going to give a shit that he doesn't have his memory.
Well, it's not even that for me of just like, this is such a used story.
So you're saying overplayed?
Yeah, exactly. It's just, it's so contrived. It's used all the time that as soon as he didn't have memories, I'm like, well, he's somebody important. Because you just knew he had to be somebody important and that he would figure it out eventually and it would be a great time. And then, like, it just made me go, like, I don't really care. Just tell me who he is. Because everybody does this and it's not that good of a storyline. Especially in video games. The main character not having his memories is so overdone. I'm glad. I don't actually know. Not too many games are doing it anymore, thankfully. But yeah, it's so overdone that when someone does it again, you just roll your eyes a little bit.
And I'm going to do a kind of spoiler mode situation. So if you have not played Arkham Knight and don't want anything spoiled for that, because I was going to mention something, I'm going to tell you, get ready on the, not pause button, but the mute button. I'm going to tell you to mute, and then I'm going to give you 10 seconds where I'm just going to say this, and then, boom, you can unmute it. Ready?
All right. Go.
Go. And this is where it's kind of like when Under the Red Hood, where Jason Todd is the Arkham Knight. Boom, I'm done. I was more than 10 seconds, so I'll take a little bit. And they're back.
Okay.
Welcome back.
So, yeah, I mean, it's just, it was obvious. It was not. You might not necessarily guess that he is the king, but it's obvious he was someone important, and you don't care that much. I don't know. I don't want to beat a dead horse here.
We're probably not going to read any more of these, are we?
Oh, no, we're done.
Unless they make another Warcraft
No,
movie.
we're done. We're not reading any more World of
Mark's
Warcraft.
like, you could read it on your own and bring someone else in, because I'm done with
the
these.
foot has been put down. I will say, welcome, nerds. These two guys are going to do it. And then I'm going to get up and I'm going to walk away.
Welcome, nerds. My name's Mark Weber, and I'm not on this podcast.
I'm not on this podcast. I want nothing to do with it. That's Ricky, and this is some other guy. See you guys later. Enjoy yourself. I'll be back when it's done.
So you're like Red from Inside Out. The foot is down.
Yep, the foot's down.
The foot has put down.
I love Inside Out.
High
Such a
fives
great fucking movie.
High fives all around.
I think this is the second time we've talked about it.
I have yet to see it.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, you gotta go see it.
I
It's
have
so
yet
good.
to see it.
It's so good.
I have yet to see Inside Out.
That's so damn good. You know, here's the thing about Inside Out. I love the beginning, because in the beginning they do a lot of memories and they play on that for a long time, and it's very kind of heartwarming. But then the story itself is cool as well. But I just really like the way you get to see this girl live her life for a little bit. It's very cool. Go watch Inside Out. I love it.
I've never seen Inside Out, but I have watched, and I got to look up his exact name as a YouTuber. He's the guy that starts the videos off with, "Hey brother," Super Carlin Brothers. That's the channel where he does a lot of Pixar theories. And I haven't seen Inside Out,
but I've
watched all of his fucking theories on just Pixar and Inside Out. And he also has one where he figures out who Andy, or that Ellie and the guy from the guy from Up.
Okay.
And Ellie, I think, was her name that he was with. That they are Andy's grandparents. Like, that's a theory. And he maps it together, and it's beautiful. Or, like, how the Pixar timeline, which is, like, you got to go check them out. Super Carlin Brothers.
I probably won't, but...
I'm telling them, not you, Mark. But, yeah, I mean, totally off the topic of World of Warcraft. But we should probably get to reviews, right? Reviews?
Yeah, I would like you to review it. I've already pulled up what we're reading next. So
Okay,
I would like you to give a score, Ricky.
What would you give it? I'm going to let you go first, because you're going to be more critical than I.
I'm probably going to give it a 1. Because
I'll give it a 2, just because I fucking knew the world that we were in.
Yeah,
I knew the World of Warcraft.
That's the biggest issue is if you like World of Warcraft, I'm sure it's fine for you. I personally am not the audience that this is for, so I can't give it a good thing. And it's just that it's not that good.
It's just a dry story when there's no action.
Super average story, But since I have no fucking clue what's going on, I can't give it a good score.
No, it's a 2. It's one of those ones where it's like, it's not great, so it's not 4 or 5, but it's like, it's not even average. It's just below average. And the only reason I'm saying that is because I knew at least what was going on, although the one thing I have to go back and play is regular Warcraft, because when they showed the portal at the beginning, my mind immediately thought back to that cover, which was, was it Burning? No. Burning Crusade was the WoW expansion, but the expansion to Warcraft 2, where it was the green cover, and they had like an orc, and then I think it was a red archer.
Beyond the Dark Portal?
Beyond the Dark Portal. I just think right back to that story mode, because that is Warcraft 2 and Warcraft 2 Beyond the Dark Portal. Played the shit out of those games. Like, got introduced Warcraft with my dad, where my dad would have to type in the DOS command to get me into the game. And then I just took it with Warcraft, and that's actually one of my favorite childhood games growing up was Warcraft 2.
StarCraft is better.
Well, I got to StarCraft, but it's the nostalgia feel of being young, and that was... You never forget your first, Mark.
Yeah, I just like StarCraft.
Never forget your first.
And StarCraft was so good on Battle.net.
Are you a Zerg, Terran, or Protoss guy?
I love the Zerg.
Oh, you're one of those guys.
Love the Zerg.
You know what's actually funny?
So awesome.
If you put me, Dave, and you all together,
we have
Zerg, Protoss, and Terran. Because I was Terran.
Yeah.
Dave's Protoss.
No, I just love the Zerg. Zerg Rush.
How did you assume I was Terran?
I just knew. I knew you'd be the human. I knew you'd be all about the humans.
I was all about, this isn't going to plan. Bloop,
you
bloop,
like the Alliance, and you like playing as a human.
But I played as a dwarf. I never played as a human. Well, I played as a human once, but dwarf and night elf were my two main characters.
Battle.net was the shit. I loved Battle.net.
It was.
All the different game modes that you could play. Oh, I just loved it so much. That's one reason why I like Gary's mod so much, because there's just a million different game modes you can play, and it's so awesome. But anyways, yeah, I'm sure some people out there who are listening to this
There's going to be people
it.
that are liking it and going, well, you guys are fucking idiots. But you know what? We didn't like it, so screw you.
It wasn't for me. It wasn't for me. What will be for me, though, because I've already read this and I love it, is Invincible, The Ultimate Collection, Volume 2. That's what we're reading in 2 weeks. But if you want it a week early, head to patreon.com and you can get it a week early. Let me read you a little something about this. It's a very quick little description. While I'm going to try and also take something out of it to not spoil it.
Yeah.
In the aftermath of Mark's revelation concerning something.
Mark in the graphic novel, not you.
But a little bit of both. He's forced to pick up the pieces of his life and carry on. That's just the description.
Dude, very, very philosophical. Though.
Yeah. I had to take out a very important spoiler in the first one because it's, we spoiled that already. So, like I said, if you want to get that a week early, you can do that by heading to patreon.com/mostvaluablepodcast. And it's $5. You can get it a week early. But at just $1, you get an exclusive Patreon podcast a month from the Most Valuable Podcast guys. I know I mentioned Battle.net on this one. We definitely talked about Battle.net quite a bit for this month's podcast. So enjoy that. Enjoy talking about a little nostalgia with video games and the internet and all that good stuff. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let us know your opinions down in the comment section or on Twitter. I'm at @TheMarkWeber. Ricky's at Ricky Widmer. Or you can go to @MostValuablePod. But beyond that, hit the like button, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're on Patreon. We are on SoundCloud. We are on mostvaluablepodcast.com. We're also on iTunes and the Google Play Store. So go do all of that good stuff. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks when we read Invincible Volume 2.
Thank you for listening to this MVP podcast. Follow us on Twitter @MostValuablePod for more great podcasts.